Hello, I'm Doug and this is the Taste and Sensibility channel, and today on Mild Melty Cheeses number 31, we're looking at American cheese. So, weeks after I finished shooting all these 31 videos on Mild Melty Cheeses, I was in a grocery store and looked at the deli section and realized I hadn't done any American cheese. Because I always think of Kraft singles wrapped up in plastic. I don't get deli cheeses mostly. I don't get deli meats, so I don't hang around those places. But then I realized that's probably my favorite kind to put on a burger. So I thought, I better circle back and get some American cheeses and figure this out and include that, because that's pretty important in American life. And I found out a couple of them are really excellent. So it kind of surprised me. So here we are including American cheese, long after I thought I was done. And see, I threw out my prep milk. So bottle's here, but the fake milk is gone. But I'm going to dig into these things. I got 3 different brands at different grocery stores at the deli counter, and they were put into my hands sliced. So I will taste them on crackers and with pairings, and then I'll make a grilled cheese sandwich and a macaroni and cheese, because this stuff ought to melt beautifully. But before I dive in, I want to get you to like this video, hit the thumbs up, share it with friends, leave comments and questions below, subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon to get notified when the new videos come out. And there will be a 32 after this one, so did it long ago. So now I'm going to take, I think, one of the contenders. This is my favorite. I think this one's number 2, and this is the one I don't like. So I'm going to try to start with the good one. So I'm just going to break it up into a small piece and give it a taste. Nope, not my favorite. That's my least favorite. It's a little salty, has a little bit of a dairy note to it, and very slightly cheesy. So it might disappear if you put it on a cracker. I will try to put it on a flatbread, but I don't get much tang on the palate like I do on some of these other mild melty cheeses, and I don't get much cheese flavor. There's a saltiness, there's a faint dairy note. That's it. So yeah, it's sort of cheesy. There's a smeary, mushy texture because most of these are a processed cheese, and it would do okay on a sandwich, on a dish, on a something, but it's not gonna stand out at all just tasting it plain by itself. So, yep. I don't think I'll even come back to this for the whole video, so. And the brand here, I was watching at the grocery store when they sliced it, and the brand is Great Lakes cheese. And they didn't put that information on the label, on the packaging I received. I just saw it on the bulk cheese, the 2.5 pound or 5 pound thing that they sliced at the time. So Great Lakes cheese is not doing a great job with American, or at least with the Yellow American. So I'll show the packages I do have, which don't have a lot of branding. But now I think I'll move on to my number 2, which is a yellow Dietz Watson brand cheese that I guess I decided was almost as good as this white one I've got here. So let's try that one. It's a little more processed in texture. It's more fluid and more ready to melt, more ready to run all over your mouth. But it's got more dairy character, butter and milk type flavors, and about the same saltiness or less salty than the one over here. So yeah, it's okay, and it feels like it would melt wonderfully. So I think I've already decided to use this in the best one in the mac and cheese, and considering using this for some of it. So I'll decide before we get there. Now on a little Ritz cracker. It tastes like a cheese and cracker combination. So a buttery cracker in a decent American processed cheese food thing. So not great, but not the worst one either. So I've been melting all three of these on burgers, and it works really well. They end up smearing all over and doing the things a cheese is supposed to do on a burger, and these two worked out much better flavor-wise on the burgers also. So I'm going to put one piece of this on an oily crostini. So it's going to have a lot of oily mouthfeel from the smeariness of the cheese and the oiliness of the cracker. Yeah, so the salt all over the crostini, it salts the cheese a little bit better and makes it a little more interesting. And it's got the texture. Yeah, the texture was fairly luscious. You could tell it's on the edge of melting. These have been sitting out for 30 minutes or so, so I didn't think they would stay cold sitting on the slate when they're sliced so thinly. So these are not large masses. So any kind of pairing or anything I might do, I just want to take a piece of this cheese and stick it, put it with a piece of a kosher beef sausage I picked up in New York on a recent visit. So let's see how this goes. So the beef sausage is well seasoned, but not really spicy by any means. But the cheese and the beef sausage both have flavors that mingle and mix well. So the Dietz Watson is acceptable, but not necessarily my favorite in this group. Although it will function perfectly if you lay it out as one of the cheese options on a platter or plate for guests. And if you get to choose how thick to slice it thicker than this. These are terribly thin, so you can probably see that in the overhead. And now we get to move on to the good one. So this is Land O'Lakes White American Cheese. And I am surprised because I saw it at Walmart. It was prepackaged, had Land O'Lakes right on the packaging. It was something like $6 or $7 a pound. Maybe more. It's on the label I'm showing, but I can't remember the price. So let's go in for Land O'Lakes. Okay, it's reminiscent of the Goudas and Havartis we had early on in this series. There's a tanginess to it. It's salted, less than the other two, I think. It's just a nice set of dairy nuts in a little tang. And I'm seeing a few holes in here. This is interesting. I never noticed holes in American cheese before until I started doing this mild melty cheese series where they're washed curd cheeses that end up with a few gaps. So when they put it together, the gaps are still there. So that's interesting that I stumbled across that too. So I think I'll put this on a piece of flatbread. See how it gets along with the cracker. Cheese is way more interesting than the flatbread. It had cheesy dairy nuts. And the cracker was a good texture contrast. So, nothing wrong with this thing at all. This is good. I like the cheese. I think it's superior. So I'm going to put it on this weird cherry and almond cracker and see how it does. I get a lot of vanilla and cherry from the cracker. And the cheese might be overpowered by all the things in here. The almonds are there too. It's a sweet bread with vanilla and almond and cherry, and it's overtaking the cheese. I could taste it. I got a couple flashes of cheese notes there, and the tanginess too. But the cracker was so loud I could barely detect it. So not too bad. And then one thing that's been working in a crazy way, it's been putting cheese, fairly mild cheese, on these Biscoff cookies, which generally have strong, burnt, caramelized notes to it, and it gets along well with the cheese. I want to find out about this. Oh yeah. Wow. Creaminess in the cheese, and the strong, maybe like burnt graham cracker, overcooked graham crackers, caramelized graham cracker, something like that. It's starting to suggest there's cinnamon in it. It's starting to suggest something almost savory. Oh, but that goes. You know, it's a sweet thing. It's like a cookie. It was good to find out that American cheese does this trick too with the Biscoff. So, how about a little piece of the beef sausage, a little bit of the cheese, and see how this works. Yeah, that is a stronger cheese flavor than the other one. It holds up to the beef. Okay, it works completely. What else have we got over here? I'm going to try. We've got a red pear. It is very juicy. It is very ripe. It's very sweet. So a little piece of red pear on this Land O'Lakes American cheese. Wow, just a flood of juice, but it goes well with the cheese notes and the tanginess. And you just gotta kind of mash it together in your mouth. But the juice, fruitiness, sweetness, lack of salt in the pear is just wonderful. And it goes with that cheese for sure. And what else? Something that wouldn't be very surprising if it works. A little bit of bacon. A little bit of American cheese. Yeah, we don't need much. Just fold it in and eat it. Great flavors, great flavors. Melt that onto anything, and you'll probably improve it. I've got a strange oblong grape here called Sweet Sapphire, I think. And I don't want the whole thing on the cheese. Let me eat half of it. It's just a fruity black grape. So I'm going to see if it goes along with the cheese. Here goes half of Sweet Sapphire in this Land O'Lakes American cheese. Oh, the same kind of good contrast as with the pear. But the grape juice and flesh is very different than the pear. So it brought out certain things in the cheese. New things in the cheese that the pear did not. So I got a lot of salt and a lot of tang in the cheese with that grape in there. Okay, I'm going to run out of stuff here pretty soon. And I'm not going back to those guys. So I want to try a few blueberries. Dried blueberries. Probably sweetened, because what isn't? I'll just see if the fruitiness of the dried stuff holds up. If I can get it in my mouth. Okay, here's a way. Oh, wow. The fruit flavors of the dried blueberries are very strong. They're very loud. And they go well with that cheese. It's like a blueberry and cream dish, or blueberry ice cream. There's dairy nuts, it's thick, it's lush, fatty. Mmm. Good combination, good combination. And I only have nuts left. And, okay, this will work. Let me try a couple cashews. Lots of the nuts are hit and miss, and cashews have mostly been miss. Let's see how it goes with American cheese. Good combination. Oily cheese, oily, salty nut, and then the nuttiness and dairy nuts and the tang are a good complement. Yep, okay. That's good. And the only thing left, almonds. So we'll taste the almonds and then we'll move on. Okay, just wrap it up and taste it. Good, 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 good. Almonds are salty. Just a different kind of nuttiness than the cashew. Wasn't quite as loud as the cashew flavors, but they got along good. So I think now I will go off and make a grilled cheese sandwich with my favorite here and bring that back to review. Oh, and by the way, another reason I overlooked American cheese was because it's not listed here in Liz Thorpe's book, The Book of Cheese. So she mentions lots of exotic things that got me looking and lots of common things that got me looking in stores. But she didn't mention American, and I didn't think of it until I was all done. So here we are back. Okay, back. Off to make a grilled cheese. Okay, I'm back with the grilled cheese. I made one with the Land O'Lakes white, and I made one with the Dietz Watson Yellow. So we will do both. So I'm always interested in texture and meltiness, stringiness. So I am not seeing a lot of stringiness, like it's not a processed cheese. It's not. Yeah, wow, it's acting like a natural cheese. So I have to look into that. Oh wow, yes, the brown bread, the butter. I can smell the cheese. I can pick up the tanginess. Hotter cheeses have more flavor. So when they're right out of the fridge, you miss a lot. When they're at room temperature, you get a lot. But when they're warmed up, you get even more. Okay, yeah. Tanginess, saltiness. The butter is salted also. Wow. Very cheesy, but not real. I mean, it melted well, but it's not stringy and oozing. It's not running out of the thing. So that's very interesting. That's why lots of the real cheeses act, where it's just a chunk of curd and they age it. I've never seen a processed cheese age, flow that way or melt that way. So that's interesting. There's a sweetness to the whole thing. I don't think it's from the butter. I don't think the bread's all that sweet. Maybe it's caramelized bread just on the outside of from the brownie. Excellent, excellent. I could eat that all day, and I will eat it later. Now I want to do a little cleanse and get into this yellow Dietz Watson cheese sandwich. Now the Dietz Watson Yellow had a distinctly processed food texture, but it's not real stringy and oozy either. And it's not running out everywhere. Okay. almost the same level of tanginess, slightly more salty. Good cheese notes. That's not as good as the Land O'Lakes. So it's a good cheese sandwich. Anyone would eat this, I would think. It's just a notch down from this guy. This is like a 90 or 95. This is like an 80. So not a problem, but about where I thought they would fall in ranking against each other. So now the last test will be macaroni and cheese. I'll go make that and then be back. Okay, I'm back with the mac and cheese. Made specifically with Land O'Lakes White American. Followed my usual recipe. Make a little roux, dump it in the cheese, and putting in the cooked pasta into that. So, smells fairly cheesy. Let's give it a taste. Very thick. It's not stringy, but it has a thick, viscous feel in the mouth. Salted just right. The pasta is salted by salting the water. This is reminiscent of the Kraft Deluxe, but the cheese doesn't really have the processed character to it. It's a lighter. I'm not sure I get the tang in this treatment. So it's not a cheddary thing, it's not an overly cheesy thing, it's not a bunch of orange powder. But the cheese flavor is real mild. Cheesy, like the neat cheese was, minus the tang. The milk may have added some sweetness. Oh, so that's a winner. That would be one of my favorite cheeses to use for a mac and cheese like this. And sometimes I get fancy and put on breadcrumbs on the top and bake it in the oven. Get it all hot and bubbly and brown. But not necessary for this recipe. This would be a kid's favorite and a nice comfort food. So I rescued American cheese before the series is over. So again, remember to like the video, leave comments and questions, share it with friends, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell to get notified. And we have one more mild melty cheese video left, and you'll see it next time, number 32. And cheers. So smooth, so creamy.